In this problem, we are going to focus on the Schedule X tax table right up here. Schedule X is for somebody who is filing single, and if you are married, filing jointly, there's another table called the Schedule Y1 table, and it looks identical to this. The numbers are just different. So let's go ahead and jump into this problem. It says the following. It says Gloria paid $1,200 in federal tax. She therefore knows her yearly earnings that are taxable fall in row 2. What are her yearly earnings that she is responsible for paying tax on? So let's underline some important information. We know in this problem that she paid $1,200 in taxes. And as a result of that, she's going to be in in bracket 2 or row 2 of the tax table, and we want to figure out her yearly earnings that she's responsible for paying tax on. That's sometimes called the taxable income or taxable earnings. So this is different than a problem I did previously because now we know how much tax she paid, but we don't know how much she earned for the year. So it's slightly different. And real quick, in this problem, I tell you which row to use. I tell you to use row 2. But a lot of times that won't be given. How do you think Gloria figured out she fell in row 2? Let me show you really quickly because it's slightly different than the previous problem I did. We know the tax that she paid. So if the tax is, from right here, I'm in the third column, is $0 or more, but less than $970, she'll be in bracket 1. Now, if the tax that she paid is $970 but more, however, it's less than $4,543, she'll be in row 2. That's how she figured it out, because let's think about this. This is how much she paid in federal tax, $1,200. And that's greater than $970, but it's less than this number here, so she's going to be in row 2. That's a little tricky. I wanted to go over that in case the row's not given to you. So I'll let you think that through. Now, let's jump into the problem. We need to figure out her yearly earnings. Again, we're in row 2, so I'm going to highlight that row right here. So we know her yearly earnings are going to be over $9,700, but not over $39,475. So when I solve this problem, I know my answer is going to be somewhere between these two numbers. Now that I figured that out, I need to focus on column 3 and column 4 to make my equation. So it says the following. If you look at the heading of column 3, it says the tax is. I'm going to write that down. The tax is. And we know what the tax is in this problem, right? It's $1,200. So it says the tax is equal to $970 plus, from right here, plus 12%, and I can write 12% as a decimal is 0.12, of, which implies times, of the amount over $9,700. So I need to figure out how much her yearly earnings are over $9,700, but I don't know her yearly earnings. I don't know that, so I'm going to call the yearly earnings X. And I'm going to subtract that from this number, $9,700. And that's my equation. That's how I set it up. Now, I know what her tax is, right? She paid $1,200 in taxes, so I'll just erase this and replace the tax is with the $1,200 right here. And now I have my equation. So again, let me repeat how I got this. So the tax is, that's $1,200 equals $970 plus 0.12 times, from this of right here, the amount over $9,700. So I took her taxable earnings, which I don't know, minus $9,700. That's the hard part of this problem. Once you get this set up, you just need to solve for X and you will be finished. So let's do that. Let's solve this for X. And this can be tricky too. One thing I see a lot is students adding these two right off the bat. They go 970 plus 0.12. Don't do that. Don't make that mistake, because you have to think of the order of operations. You have to do the stuff inside the parentheses first, then multiply by the 0.12, and then add the 970. So don't add these two right away. What you need to do is, let's get this 970 to the other side, because I want to get the x by itself. So I'm just going to subtract 970 from both sides of the equation. And let's simplify this. That goes to 0 right here. Now 1200 minus 970 is 230. And that equals, just bring this stuff down, 0.12 times x minus 9700. And now there's multiple ways to solve this. You can distribute the 0.12 with the x and the 9700 using the distributive property. But I look at it this way. The 0.12 is multiplied by this whole quantity. So to undo multiplication, just do division. This is another way to do it. So I'll divide both sides by 0.12. These drop off. And 230 divided by 0.12 is 1916.67. Now, when you divide this on the calculator, you're going to get more decimals. I just went to 2 decimal places because we're dealing with money. And if you put 0.66 here, that's fine as well. Now, let's bring down the x minus 9700. And then the last step, I just brought that down from here, right here. And then let's just now add 9700 to both sides of the equation. Whatever we get will be our answer for this problem here. So this drops off, and we have x equals, when I add these two together, I get 11,616.67. And that right there is the yearly earnings right here. So in other words, since she paid $1,200 in federal tax, her yearly earnings that she's responsible for paying tax on is $11,616.67. And again, your answer needs to fall between these two numbers here. And it does. You can see that your answer falls between $9,700 and $39,475. So that's kind of a check. Have a great day.